If you pull this idea off, you'll be printing money. I'm your host, John Guyton, and I am joined today by an amazing guest.
My most famous thing would be co-founder of SendGrid. I wrote the software that powers most of the internet's email. We IPO'd back in 2017, which was pretty awesome. Then got acquired by Twilio, and by the time the deal was finally done, it was $3 billion.
Time to give the people an idea. So my buddy Kyle got a house built in Milwaukee with a pool, but he couldn't swim in his pool for 6 months. And the reason he couldn't swim in his pool is because there was one plastic part, simple plastic part, no metal moving parts inside of it. It is just a plastic part that the pool equipment needed in order to make the whole thing function. So the entire pool couldn't function because of this one plastic part, about $100. Cost 6 months. And I talked to this good friend of mine, and he's telling me, man, pool, I basically paid for a hole in the ground. I can't swim and all. And I just thought, and he just said, what's this part? I looked at the part, I'm like, this is a simple plastic part. And I said, Kyle, question. It's a $100 part. I said, if I can snap my fingers and get you the part in 2 days, would you pay me $300 for it? And he didn't hesitate one bit. He said, oh, sure, 100%. I said, but if you just wait, you'll get it for $100. He goes, yeah, but I want to swim now. 100%, that plastic part could easily be printed with a 3D printer. People are printing amazing things with 3D printers.
It's entirely possible that the manufacturer prints them with 3D printers.
Yes, bingo. Thought about this and I go, wait a minute, there's an idea here, for sure. How many other plastic parts are there like this? Plastic, aluminum, simple materials that could be printed with a 3D printer.
Right.
Basic, high level, the idea is to somehow connect the millions of 3D printer owners. Gus. Gus already has a 3D printer in his garage, but he'd like to make some extra money. Why not? And you've got Kyle, who needs his $100 part now, and then you've got the manufacturer of said part that has an issue too, because they've got a bunch of Kyles who want it and this and that and the other. So the idea, the business idea, would be to make all three of those people smile. So we make Kyle happy by getting his part now as opposed to 6 months from now, right? The manufacturer is happy because they get the same revenue that they would for selling the part. They make their customers happy, and they alleviate some of their supply chain challenges with at least those parts. And then we make Gus happy because Gus got paid to use something that he already owns.
Sure, I get the idea, and I think from a first idea standpoint, it's awesome. The challenge would be how to build that and set it up in a way that we can avoid patent infringement type stuff, right? Because it's like, okay, you figure I'm the manufacturer, I create the 3D printer files for making all of my parts. So that's the first part that has to happen. They have to do that, and they have to be incentivized to do that. And then you need to make sure that they're able to monetize it. I suppose if we really want to figure this out, right, if we're like, okay, that because manufacturers are going to get in the way, not all parts are patented, right?
Oh, right.
It's kind of like, because there's OEM versions of all kinds of stuff, right? Oh, I've got this thing. Well, that's nice. There's an OEM version of it that costs half the price. It's entirely possible that you could just go and say, okay, for anything that's not patented, okay, if it's too hard to get that might be plan B, right? You try and go to the manufacturers, and if the manufacturers won't work with you, you go to plan B of, okay, fine, I'll just make a network where somebody says, I need a 3D model of this. Well, I have that. I'll make a 3D model for you. Here it is.
Yes.
Ship it to your printer. It's $100 for you.
Yes.
And at that point, who cares?
Wow. So the manufacturers have to play ball. They're incentivized now to play ball.
Right.
Forget the risk. They should play ball. Period.
Right. Yeah, because we're going to make some money.
Yes.
If you guys want to be all scared of whether or not you're going to make any money, well, we're going to make money. We're either going to do it with you, because we'd rather. It's more polite, right? It's more, I don't know what the right word is. It's certainly more socially responsible. But if you're not going to play ball, well, you know what? Kyle needs his part.
Kyle needs his part. we're going to help Kyle. Would you like to partner with us to help Kyle? If you don't want to partner with us to help Kyle, we'll go the OEM route. We don't need you. Okay, cool. So we've thought, look at this. Okay, so we've solved that problem already.
Sure.
So the manufacturer, the manufacturer's going to play ball one way or the other, OEM, whatever. What I love about this idea is there's millions of items. We don't need to tackle millions of items. There's tens of millions of items, meaning you don't need all tens of millions of items. You just find the ones that make sense. Can it be printed on a 3D printer? Is it in demand? Right? Is it in demand? Can it be printed on a 3D printer? And is it easily shippable? Blah, 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 blah.
Right.
All these different things.
Yeah, you figure step one of it, you figure if you're trying to create this thing, almost what you would do to start it out is you would have the print.me website where Kyle goes and contacts our people and says, I'm looking for a this. And so at that point, we're responsible for going to the manufacturer. Hey, can I get a 3D model of it? No. Okay, well, where can I find one of those parts? Oh, well, there's lots of those in California. Fine, I'm gonna call someone in California. Can you get that part? Yes, you can get that part. Okay, cool. Now I'm gonna get a picture of it. Now I've got a picture of it, and I can get it for you. I mean, hell, at that point, you might just even skip the whole 3D printing part and be like, fine, I'm gonna find someone in California, because like I said, you're like, I'm willing to pay $300 for that. Well, I can find someone who in an hour or two can probably find that part in California, be like, okay, fine, I'm gonna buy it there, and then I'm gonna ship it to you. And it's gonna cost me $100 to buy the part, and I'm gonna pocket the $200 for my 1 hour of work.
Wow. Okay, that's another thing. Somebody run with that. But let's go with the printing thing for now.
Just to go back to the idea.
Okay. But here's what I love about what you just did. I wasn't even thinking about it in this way, but now it makes a whole lot of sense. Basically, it's like if enough Kyles want widget A, then as a company, I'll just say we, but I really mean you, whoever you are. Like, this is an idea we're giving away. Execute on it. But anyways, so if this is the case, then if we have, wow, look, there's 10,000 Kyles a month are asking for this part. And it's like, got it. It makes sense for us to then go track down and make sure that we can get that part. The people with 3D printers, no problem. You go to the 3D printer, you go to the 3D printer companies and say, everybody you sold a 3D printer to, give them this extra benefit. Why wouldn't you want your 3D printer to be able to make extra money? It's like if there's, I know this is not true, but if there's only 10 types of 3D printers in the market and I go and I say, hey, 4 of these are 3D printers that actually will help you make money with print.me. They're print.me compatible. These 6 are not. Which ones are gonna sell more? So the printers are gonna play ball, I would say, because they're gonna go, yes, I want that to enable them better or whatever.
Sure. Yeah, I don't think that the printers are really going to be our biggest issue, because a 3D printer file is a 3D printer file, as far as I know.
Yep, and then maybe scrape the web for out of stock.
I mean, it almost, if the manufacturers aren't playing ball, maybe we would call it your OEM or something, right?
Yes.
Where it's just purely, okay, I'm going to get you the part.
Your OEM. Yeah, it's like, it doesn't even matter, but yeah, print.
And this is how ideas work out, right? You start off with, I've got this idea. Okay, this is how I'm thinking about doing it. It's going to be with 3D printers and this and that. And you kind of work your way and say, what problem am I trying to solve? And is the way that I'm trying to solve it actually the best? Is there some simpler way to go about solving this problem?
Yeah, I when you look at this, yes, I love that. And this is testing, right? OEM on demand, OEMOD, that's a good one. If that is available, which I doubt, but if that URL is available, somebody should buy that.
Yeah.
OEMOD. OEM
Yeah.
on demand.
I think that, because that's really what you're trying to solve,
Or OEM on demand, yeah.
is I just want to get my damn part.
That's it.
And the method of getting the part isn't necessarily as important, right? We're trying to solve the pain. How we solve the pain, well, that's what we talk about. But the business that we're in is solving that pain of, I need to get that part somehow. And like I said, if it's just some person that you call up and they know, okay, I will be able to track that down for you, and you owe me $300 for doing it, like you said, Kyle'll pay it.
Okay, so how do we test this? So is it, okay, I'm just gonna talk about some of the ideas, right? So one, Could you say, all right, we're going to do it in this one, only it's in this one city right now, and we're going to really get a dense coverage of printers, and we're going to have a few manufacturers of popular items that we know are out of stock, right? So we're going to find our lowest hanging fruit and just approve it in one city. Is it one item? Like, what's the way that you test this and scale it?
So the big thing would be trying to find out what out of stock item that is 3D printable people are trying to find. And I'm not sure what a good
In demand, 3D printable.
right 3D printable or located somewhere else, right? Where it's like, well, I can get that if I'm in France, but I can't get that here. I don't know if Google searches are the way, maybe forums. There's probably forums where people are like, hey, I'm trying to get this part, where's it at? It might even just be maybe there's forums where people post for that kind of stuff and you post out there, hey, I'm thinking of providing this service. Is there anybody who's currently experiencing problems with that? I can go and help you.
True. Yep.
And essentially you do it, like I was saying, you basically do it as the concierge. Okay, I'm going to go and find that part, or I'm going to 3D print it for you. Which you probably have to find the part in order to 3D print it, if no model already exists, which it likely doesn't. But
Yeah, I'm just looking for that. I'd be looking for that one part. It's small. It's small. It's something that is important in everyday life, or something that is just, but it's simple. And it could be a gear for something. It could be whatever.
Right.
And this is it. We're gonna, it could be a pinion gear that you could use. It could be plastic. And all of a sudden you're printing those.
yeah, maybe you might be able to do some like targeted keyword searches, where some ads based on searches where, hey, you're looking for that part. That might, like, I don't know if Kyle, you might talk to someone like Kyle. That might be the other way, is you talk to people like Kyle who have felt this pain and say, how did you go about trying to find a solution?
Oh yeah.
And then you say, okay, those are the channels where I'm going to do a tiny bit of advertising to be able to get some people. And again, you can test it out without actually building the company. You can do it just as you saying, yeah, call me up and I will find you that part or print one for you.
Back to the theme of helping people with their pain. If we can find out exactly what Kyle's searching to try to solve their own problem, then you know exactly how to find the millions of Kyles that have those exact problems.
Right.
And voila, that's how you figure out the customer.
Exactly.
Wow. This is great. Super exciting. So look, if it's not clear to you already, here's the deal. Ideas. Pretty awesome. Pretty exciting. Think about if we're calling it OEM on demand. It was print.me. Things change quickly. You can name it what you want. It's your idea to work with. But imagine if OEM on demand was real and you had millions of things being printed all over the country or maybe even the world. And OEM on demand took a little piece of each transaction that add up to a whole lot of transactions, a whole crap ton of money, some profit. You create jobs, you give people a way to make some side cash, and you'd help out Kyle, who wants his part now. Ideas are worthless. It's the execution that matters. It's how you execute is what is going to determine whether this becomes real or it stays an idea forever. That is up to you. I'm John Guyton. This is Tim Jenkins, and this was another Worthless Idea. We'll see you next time.